we want things to come out the way we want it to, but God already have a plan for us, and we can't see that, but He has a plan for us. And when one door closed, another door will open. Good morning, my little newsies. How are my little newsies doing? Let's see if this is gonna work. I am fine. This message is for Boss Lady Lexi. Boss Lady, I know we don't personally know each other, but I just want to say, I feel for what you're going through. I've been through this before. Matter of fact, my son was straight out of high school, and my daughter was elementary, because y'all know they 12 years apart. And I was homeless for about 13 months. I guess this is going to turn to a slight story time, but the way I became homeless was, it was about, I can't remember the year, but I'm gonna say I believe it was like 2000, 2001. I was renting this condo, and I had been there for almost 5.5 years. Well, not a condo, I'm sorry, it was a townhouse. And I've been there like 5.5 years. Well, the people who owned it, well, actually, I was there like about 4 years at that time. And the people who own it, they own more properties. And it was a woman who owned these properties, and the son was like taking over, and he wanted to sell some of the properties. Well, the place that I was in was only a 2-bedroom, and my daughter and I, we shared a bedroom because when I moved there, she was only 5 months old, and my son was in high school. And no, when I moved there, I believe he was in junior high school. He was in junior high school when I moved there. And I got I don't remember if the man called me, the owner, because I got this place through a rental company or a mortgage company, or not a mortgage company. Y'all know what I'm trying to say. Let me get my it was a company, a rental, a property management I went through. That's what I'm trying to say. A property management I went through. So I actually did not know the people I was renting a place from, but I would pay my rent to go to the property management, because I would always take mines in. I would never mail it in. I would drive it in, because it was in another city, but it wasn't too far that I could mail in and make sure that they got my rent, instead of me putting in the mail and then I get marked as it is late. So since the son was taking over, he wanted to sell some of the properties, and he either gave me a call or I was sent a note or something, and I was like so freaking devastated, because the high school in the city I was living, the high school that my son was attending to was very good high school. So I wanted him to stay there, because I didn't, even though my kids were both born in Pomona, I did not want them to go to Pomona High. Yes, Pomona High has a bad name. So I went to Pomona High, but I did not want my kids to go to Pomona High. So even though they were born in Pomona. So somehow I contact him. I think I called. And my son, I think he was in the 11th grade at the time. And I said, could my son please, could I stay here until he graduates? Now, maybe mistaken, he may have been in the 12th grade, I'm not sure. But he agreed, and he let me stay until my son graduated, which was in June of 2002 that he graduated. Well, I totally forgot about me saying, could we stay until my son graduated, not knowing that they would give me a 30-day notice on July 4th. That was my worst July 4th ever. So I had to be out of that place by August 4th. So I said, okay, so I'm going to go out and look for a house that I could buy. Forget this rent stuff. Even though the rent in 2002 in that townhouse was $650, it was cool, but it was only, one bathroom. But I knew that I did not want to buy it because they wanted to sell it, and we were already about to outgrow it because now my daughter is about ready to go to kindergarten. So I got the notice, the 30-day notice on July 4th, and in the city where I lived at that time is called Laverne. I was living in Laverne, California. And they always used our street that I was on to line up for the parade. So we got to see the parade from the beginning. Well, most of them from the beginning. And even sometimes I would let people come and use the bathroom because they would be lined up so long, but waiting for the parade to get started, that, sometimes some people had to go to the bathroom because they didn't put any porta potties or anything on the street. So at least people can go to the bathroom because when they're lining up for the parade, they're there for, a long time until the parade gets started. So anyway, then also, the city did a lot, and I really enjoyed that city. But then I'm going to say this, they were very prejudiced, and anyway, that city that I lived in was very prejudiced. And my rent at that time, it was, like I said, $650 for a 2-bedroom, 1 bath, which was kind of steep, but it was doable for me to do it. Anyway, so I decided to go buy a house. So I still packed up everything to get out by the August 4th. But when I finished packing up everything, and at that time we loaded up the truck, and my stuff went into my brother's garage because they didn't use their garage for a vehicle or anything. And then I've got a small storage for our living, to wherever we're gonna live. I need my clothes to work and all this good stuff. And so we put some of the things in a small storage, was about the size of a small walk-in closet. So, anywho, I drove on August 4th. I did not make it to the managed company in time, so we had the car packed. I wanted to drop off the keys, but I took my kids. I just drove them out to Vegas to stay with my parents at the time. They always go out there in the summertime, so it was like perfect timing. So I took them out there to spend time for the summer. Okay, so then I come back. Let me see. I think I came back on. I came back on Monday. I'm pretty sure I came back on Monday to get that key back to them. And I got my deposit back and everything, but they charged me for those 2 days because I wasn't there to turn in that key on August 4th like I was supposed to. So they assumed that I was still in the place. But anyway, like I said, Oh, and the address that I used was the address in Vegas, because now I'm homeless. My kids, they have a place to stay for the summer, but right now I'm homeless. So I stay with a friend. Matter of fact, the course of my being homeless for about 13 to 15 months, whatever it was, I can't remember. I stayed with a few people, but it was okay. It was just me. My kids were in Vegas, but I have to get somewhere. Anyway, while they were out there, I already had purchased a camera from when my daughter started her ballet and tap when she was. I started her in ballet and tap when she was like about 3. So I purchased the camera because the first time I borrowed a camera, the second time I rented a camera, and I'm like, okay, I need to purchase a camera, and so I will videotape going to the houses, you know, and then I took all that back to Vegas when I went back out to Vegas, and I was showing them the houses and stuff. But anyway, when I finally did find a house, I had a fiance at the time. Well, I was, okay, let me go back. I found a house in San Bernardino. There were people there that was renting the house, and this time I did not take a video of the house because for my daughter, when I brought my kids back from Vegas, I know I'm all over the place because, you know, when you gotta go back, it gets emotional when you have to go back, but you know, when I think about it, like, I made it through with God. I made it through. But anyway, my daughter was back with me, and I was staying with another friend. Now, and she was very open to invite me, even though I only knew her through work. So I'm just saying a friend because she's a friend now. And she had 5 kids of her own, and her oldest daughter had a child. And for her to let me come in was, you know, she opened up her house. I laid on her couch. Me and my daughter I laid one way on the couch. My daughter laid the other way on the couch. So I found the house. There were people in there renting the house, and I was going through a second. Let's see, was this my first real estate person I was going through? I will add the names and everything if I can remember, but I believe I still have the letter somewhere. It's probably in my storage in my file cabinet. But this was like, I can't remember, okay, if it was August, September, October, November. I wanted to be in the house by Christmas. Now remember, I done picked up the kids and we staying with somebody, and now he says, yeah, you'll be there by Christmas. And I'm like, okay. The time passed by. It's January now. And now I have moved out of my friend's house, and now I'm staying in a hotel or a motel or extended stay. And it was costing me, at that time, $262 a week. So I paid every Friday. My daughter was happy to see Friday. I hated Fridays for a long time because I had to pay my rent, plus any other thing. But it was furnished, and that's a whole nother story time, because it was a minute before they would let me stay permanently. I had to keep moving out every 4 weeks. So that was a hassle. And I'll move next door to the hotel to cost me $50 a night. And I had to move out of the hotel for 2 days, the extended stay for 2 days, 48 hours, and then I can come back and start all over again. Anywho, like I said, another story time. If y'all want to hear that one, what I went through with that, y'all can. Just let me know. But anywho, I was in an extended stay, not knowing we was gonna be there for like over a year, but we were. Now this is January, and I said I thought I was going to be in the house by then. Well, all these papers he's drawn up for me. Let me tell you something. If y'all ever decide to buy a house, make sure you talk to somebody, family member or whatever. Show them all your paperwork and everything. The ones who have bought a house before, because my cousin seen my papers and she said that was like about sometime in January. She said these papers don't even look right. This don't even look right. And because it was my first time, I didn't know it wasn't right. I have already paid for inspection to the house. I have paid the escrow. I already put in money in the escrow, $500, and I believe like the inspection was about $300, and I bought paint for the house and painted every room in the house. I had access to the house because there was no backsliding glass. I went in there and painted every room except the bathroom of my room. This was a 3-bedroom house. I had painted white. I had a different color for my room. I had a different color for my daughter's room, and my son's room was just painted in white. We painted every damn room. And in January, that man came and he told me, yeah, I need $1,500. I gave him $1,500, and I says, where's my receipt? He said, I don't have no receipts. But you coming to me that's when things started looking weird. You coming to me for $1,500, me not knowing that, girl, you're not even actually buying a house. You're just giving this man money. Well, I have receipt books. I keep receipt books. So I wrote out a receipt, or I think I had him write out the receipt, and long and behold, that was the only way I got back my money. But it took a while to get back my money. But before all this happened, I had a friend that was in real estate. And I didn't even freaking think about her, but she was newly into real estate. And I wasn't thinking, because I had already been looking at houses for a while, and I had been out of touch with her. So I had her card or something, and I was talking to her. So she said, let me check the escrow place and everything and see what's going on. Girl, come to find out, escrow has been trying to get in contact with me because the house was not being sold to me. It was being sold to someone else. And the escrow did not want to give me my $400 or $500 back, and they didn't. So I boo-hoo cried on the phone. They gave me $100 more than they were going to actually give me. So I think they gave me about $300 back. And then inspection, and then I had a plumber to come by, but his was free. But I lost my money in getting the house inspected. Now, his name is Daryl Levels, and I don't remember the name of the company he was working for. But I went there to go get my money, and he writes me a check. He wrote me a check. Actually, I think he might have came to the shop. I'm not for sure about that. I can't remember. But he wrote me a check, and he scratched his address off of it. So every day I was taking that check to his bank. And so about the third time I went to take the check to the bank, the teller said, let's see if this crook have money or whatever. There was still no money in there, right? So I went to the real estate company, and one of the ladies that worked there, she said, oh, how you like your house? I said, I have not moved into no house. She said, what? And so I had her name, and then I had another lady's name that was like, I forgot their titles, and then No, let me back up. I went to the bank for like the third time, and there was no money in account. So what I did was, my cousin, the one who told me that those papers doesn't look like real papers, she told me to write this letter. She told me what to write. She wrote it. I wrote in my own handwriting. I faxed it, and I had the lady who asked me about was I in the house, and I told her no, because I went on another day, and I don't think he was there is what happened. And so after the fax, I think they called me to come there to get my money. And homeboy came out with my $1,500 in cash, because I had the receipt. I had all the three of their names down. And anyway, it was like a letter that was like kind of like threatening them, because I wasn't playing. They thought I was dumb, but it wasn't them, it was him. So but when I did come up there, I think I had asked for the lady who asked me about the house. They said she no longer worked here, and I guess she just got fed up and said they doing some scandalous stuff. So that is the reason why I ended up homeless. And then while I was homeless, I had met a guy a couple of years prior to this, but he was still married. This is another story time. If y'all want to hear about that story time and that fiance, put it down there. But anyway, he came back into my life after a couple of years and told me he was divorced. Like I said, another story time. And so we started again looking for houses. And at this time, from my original time I started looking for a house, I was finding a house like almost 2 years later, and prices had doubled in California. Because what I got my house for, I could have had a couple of duplex for the same price. So prices had doubled out there by the time I got my house. So me and my house, I was there almost 3 years. Another story time. If y'all want to hear about that one, go ahead and put it in the comments. But my main thing is, I want to say to Boss Lady Lexi, like I said, we don't personally know each other, but you are my sister and I love you. And I wish that I could do more for you than just pray for you and your family, that everything will come out, that everything will come out fine. And I know that it will. I know that it will, because I look back at that, what I went through while I was in the storm. I couldn't see it, but when I came out, and then I go back and I look back on, anyone can look back on things that they went through and how they came out. I mean, it's just amazing. Just like, how did I do it? But I did it, and it was all because of him. It's always because of him. We want things to come out the way we want it to, but God already have a plan for us, and we can't see that, but he has a plan for us. And when one door closed, another door will open. And while you're going through this, I know you're a strong woman. I'm a strong woman, but we have to go through this to keep us being strong, because otherwise we'll get relaxed. So any trials and tribulations we go through, this keep us being strong, as long as we know that God has you. And I just want to say, I'm praying for you and your family. Like I said, right now, my finances, I'm just like making money to take care of the place in Vegas and things here. So I'm in day by day, but I'm making it. And I know that I always know that things are going to get better. I mean, I thank him every day I wake up, and to allow me to make the abundance to pay for what I need. And I always pray just to have enough, and that is just what I have. I just have enough, and I see the bills that I need to pay that's coming up, and I'm like, how am I gonna do this? And I wreck my brains, and he does it every time. He blessed me with the abundance that I need, and I'm thankful. And I just want to say, I know you're you're probably right now in the eye of the storm, but things are going to get better. Things are going to get better. Well, I should say you were in the eye of the storm when you were in your last place, but things will get better. Just keep your head up. Keep your head up, Boss Lady Lexi, and I will try and put her Cash App in my description box if anyone would like to donate, and make it a little bit easier, because I'm telling you, the money that you save up, like I had a couple of $1,000, and when it came to when just a couple of years ago, when I moved out my place in Riverside, and my kids didn't want to move out, I'm like, I'm not paying that rent over there no more. And so the hotel at that I was paying then, the first week was $450. So it was always 400 and something every week, and it killed me. But anyway, I'm gonna keep you in prayer, Lexi. Boss Lady Lexi. Girl, that song be sticking in my head. Anyway, my newsies, as always, if I say I love you, you can definitely love yourself. Bye.